Good afternoon. My name is Heidebrennand, and I now welcome you warmly to my brand new podcast. My podcast, Lena's Wunderkammer, is going to be about all those paranormal, scary stuff that we are very fascinated by and that terrifies us at the same time. Today's topic is urban legends. And you know, throughout the whole history of time, people have really enjoyed telling each other those urban legends. Around the bonfire places, when they were gathering together in different communities, or for other occasions, they were really enjoying sharing those really spooky, scary stories. So our languages and currencies and power outlets even might differ throughout the globe. But there's always something that binds us together, and that is our fears. And our fears and our anxieties and us being terrified of the unknown is what is similar to every single human being all over the globe. So, when it comes to fears, we can explain it a lot through biology and also through psychology. And it's like we have always, fear has been this very primal feeling that we have in our bodies and minds. And that goes so long back and has always been a part of evolution. Because we fear what we can't explain, and we fear what we can't see. So that is how it's always been. And that is why, for instance, urban legends, as we are going to talk about today, can appear so extremely scary to us. Simply because we don't know if these stories are true or not. And believe me, I certainly in some cases would not tempt faith. So it's like when we get scared of something more abstract, something that we can't explain, if we get fear of a feeling, of a presence, you know, that we can't really put our finger on what it really is, that is way more scary than any big bear or a wolf out in the wild, because we do know what a wolf looks like. And it can be terrifying to encounter one, I assume, but at least we can pinpoint exactly what is scaring us. And that is why the urban legends are a little bit more horrible for our minds to think about. Because we hear these stories, you know, they are supposed to be warnings sometimes they're just pure entertainment. And other times we sit there with a feeling of maybe could this happen to me, so I'd better avoid it. Urban legends have been a part of culture and civilization for so long. And the oldest urban legends that we know actually date back into ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, ancient civilizations in Asia and South America. It's nothing new. People have always enjoyed telling each other these chilling stories. And a few of the oldest urban legends are actually they are related to ghosts, to undead, to spirits, and to hauntings. But then we have some other urban legends that came with modernization. And one thing is, for instance, the urban legends about the vanishing hitchhiker. It dates back to the early 20th century, when the car was just almost invented, and has roots in older folklore as well. And it is about this driver who picks up a hitchhiker. And the hitchhiker is sitting there, they have a conversation together, quite a jolly ride actually. And then all of a sudden when they appear, they come into this very desolate place, the hitchhiker asks the driver to stop so he can get out. And the driver is like, but there's nothing here. It's completely desolate. There's no houses, there's nothing. And the hitchhiker still insists on getting out of the car. So, of course, the driver, he pulls over, and the hitchhiker vanishes into nothing. Is never seen again, and the driver is left terrified, of course, because what was it that he actually had that conversation with in the car, or who? So, and then we have another mid-20th century urban legend about the hook man. And the hook man involves this couple parked in a secluded area who hear a news report about an escaped convict who has a hook for a hand. And they leave quickly. They become very scared because he is supposed to be in the same area as they are. And then all of a sudden, as they escape the car, they see this hook coming at a very, very high speed on the car door handle. But no escaped convict, only the hook itself. And it terrifies them, of course, but they do, in some versions of the urban legend, they escape and live happily ever after, but never ever approaches that area again. In other versions, they are, of course, killed and found dead, with the hook still in the door handle of the car. And then we have the urban legends about, it's various types of it actually, and various variations about the babysitter and the man upstairs. Whereas this story actually became really, really popular in the 1960s. So you have this young babysitter that is receiving these frightening phone calls from someone who's just whispering threats into the phone. And it turns out that she's absolutely terrified. She locks all the doors. And then it turns out that the man is actually resided within the same house as the one she's babysitting in. And in some versions, she walks upstairs only to find him under the bed of the toddler that is asleep. And in other versions, I have heard that she then goes to bed herself and she finds out by when her hand is sort of falling off the bed when she's asleep. She feels someone licking her hand, and it turns out that it is not the dog, but the man who has scared her on the phone earlier. And she's found, she loses her mind, but she doesn't die. And in some other stories, again, she does actually die and are found dead the next day. With a note next to the bed saying, murderers can also lick hands. And then, of course, we have another killer story. That is the killer in the back seat from the 1960s, where this couple is out on a romantic date, driving away. Then they start arguing, and it turns out that the man gets out of the car, and the woman, she drives on. And then it turns out that there is actually an escaped convict again, the killer who hides in the back seat of the car. She is not aware of him being there, but she pulls over to get some petrol, and it turns out that the man in the petrol station is pointing, towards her back seat window, and it turns out that she can actually see a man sitting there with a hoodie on, really, really scary, and it scares the living daylight out of her. And I mean, urban legends, if we have to look at it rationally as well. They are quite entertaining, they are quite chilling, and they also sort of gives us that good feeling. We like to be a little bit scared sometimes, and it's quite fascinating as well. And then the discussion starts going. Can they happen? Is it true? How true is it? Is it not true at all? Is it all invented? But they often serve as this mirror to changes in society and also common fears and anxieties as well. And it reflects the concerns and the values of the time in which they are created. And of course, they usually they have a function in our societies, because they can be warnings, like the vanishing hitchhiker, for instance. You should be scared of strangers, you know. You have to play on that fear of strangers so that you can prevent young people from picking up hitchhikers. And it also sort of highlights the anxieties that we have about our own personal safety and trust, and the ability to trust people. And then we have technological anxieties. It started with the babysitter and the man upstairs, because technology has always come with some kind of anxiety attached to it. It is in the changes of the time. And when we have shifts in paradigms, and when there are huge, massive, rapid changes in technological advancements in society, people get this sense of xenophobia. So they become estranged to their own cultural norms, in the sense that all of a sudden it seems as if everything that they know and are familiar with are actually being shaken by technology. And that has become probably one of the biggest reasons for urban legends and that are linked to technology itself. It began like in The Babysitter, with the possibility of the phone, you know, that he could actually call from inside the house. And then we have fear attached to the internet, of course, and we have that urban legend about Slender Man. Slender Man is invented. There is no doubt about that. But at the same time, you have some, I would call them nutcases. I will be so frank. But you have some people that sort of gets really excited about this in a very negative way. And then it spirals, you know. So maybe they will dress up as Slender Man in that suit and everything, with the black face, and walk around and scare people for no other reason than it gives them some kind of weird personal pleasure. So it sort of creates, it can start as a myth, as an urban legend, and then it creates or turns into something very scary, something very real. And the same with the killer clown epidemic, I would say, that was like 10 years ago. In a lot of towns all over the world, you had people dressing up like really scary killer clowns. And they were hiding in playgrounds, in bushes, on street corners, outside people's windows and doors, just to scare people. And that is absolutely terrifying. And at the same time, it sort of sprang out from the urban legends about the killer clowns. And this all started with the killer clown myths that arose in the waves of the launching of It back in the 1980s. Stephen King's famous killer clown movie. And it can go from being just an urban legend and all of a sudden turn very real and become a part of reality. And that is when it's kind of scary. And of course, in the old days, they served as moral lessons. You do not go into the forest when it's dark. You do not approach strangers that you don't know. And it was precautionary reasons why these urban legends were told. You were supposed to be scared. You were supposed to take these precautions, and you were supposed to learn something from them. So it's like really interesting how they serve different functions in society and always have done throughout time. So I will now tell a story that is believed to have originated in Mexico or in South America. It's even linked to the ancient Aztec mythology. And it's about a wailing woman called La Llorona. La Llorona is often compared to an Aztec goddess in some cases, and she's famous for her absolutely devastating wailing cries. And she's lurking around water edges in the forests in Latin America and Mexico, and she will ask you in a desperate way, could you please help me find my children? And you will feel so sorry for her that the people who say they have encountered her say that it feels as if their heart is breaking, you know? So you feel so sorry for this woman that you will help her find her children, only to find out she will point down to the edge of the water, and as you bend over to see if you can help her find them in the water, assuming that her kids have drowned there, she will push you in. And then some stories say that there are survivors, because otherwise the stories wouldn't have been told. Other people say that everyone who encounters her dies. We do not know. But what also is a part of the legend is the fact that the reason why she's walking around looking for her children and cry all the time is because she killed them herself by pushing them into water, and they drowned. And she did so because she was very, very jealous of some woman that her husband was having an affair with. And what does this urban legend actually learn us or teach us? Well, we learn you should not go into the woods alone at night time. You should not talk to strangers, and you should definitely not go too close to the water's edge, because then you can fall in and you will drown. And then there are even cases where people claim that they have heard her in their sleep, that she is visiting the inside of their heads and gives them nightmares far worse than any other type of nightmare. Then we have the legend of Kuchisake Onna, also known as the slit-mouthed woman. And that is from Japan, so we are now in a completely different part of the world. It's a terrifying tale in Japanese folklore. And the Kuchisake Onna is often described as very beautiful, but she always hides the lower part of her face with a mask or a fan. And the moment she's uncovering it, you can see this really horrible mouth of hers, because she has cuts from the side of her mouth all the way up to the side of her eyes. And it's this huge, horrible, absolutely demonic grin. And it sort of resembles, I don't know if you are familiar with The Man Who Laughs, this movie from 1927 or something. Not sure about the exact year. With this man with that really big grin on his face, only far worse, the Kuchisake Onna. And when you encounter her, according to the legend, she approaches people, usually at night, either, it doesn't matter if you're outside or inside your own house. She will go all the way up to their faces and she will ask, "Do you think I am beautiful?" And then, if the person says no, she will kill them with a pair of scissors or a knife or something else sharp that she has at hand. If she says yes, she will then reveal her very disfigured mouth and scare the living daylight out of them. And not only that, she will also then use whatever she has at hand, scissors, knives, anything, to slash open the mouth of the victim so it looks like her disfigured mouth. Absolutely terrifying. So the origins of this urban legend in Japan, it depends on what region of Japan we are in. One version suggests that she was the wife of a samurai, who mutilated her after discovering that she had cheated on him. And another version claims that she was a woman disfigured during a medical procedure by a jealous rival. So, can you survive this woman? Can you survive the Kuchisake Onna? Well, they can survive if you answer the question that she asks you, am I beautiful? If you answer it ambiguously and say that you look average. If you say that, she doesn't really know what to do. But you could also distract her with sweets or with money. And then she will be very distracted, and that will give you the possibility to escape her completely. So, I am now wondering, as we are approaching the end of my very first podcast episode about urban legends, I am wondering, have you heard any spooky urban legends that you would like to share in the comments or with me via email, heidebrennand@gmail.com. Do you know any ghost stories that really interest you? Because there are so many famous horror legends from all over the world, and I want to hear your stories. And I also would like maybe share your opinions. Do you believe in urban legends? Are there some urban legends that you believe more than others? And why? And where did you hear them the first time? What type of urban legend has had the most impact on you personally? And why do you think that is? And do you think some of them might be true? Type away in the comments, because I would really like to know. And if you would like to be a guest on my podcast, please write to me. That would be amazing if we could make that happen. And I hope to see you again next week. And next week's topic is haunted houses and places. So if you have any stories, or if you have a ghost in your house, please let me know about it. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for listening. I really, really hope that you will listen again next week, Saturday on March the 1st. Thank you so much.
Recording stopped.